Let's be real. Motivation is overrated. We have all had that moment where we watch a motivational video, feel hyped for like 20 minutes, and then go right back to scrolling or daddy. That's the problem. Motivation doesn't last. But here's the truth nobody talks about. The people who actually win long term, they don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why discipline beats motivation every single time and how you can start using it to build unstoppable consistency in your life. So, I am Zareen. If you are new at my channel, subscribe and start a new journey with me. Okay, let's be real for a second. Motivation, it's cute, but it's unreliable. You know that feeling when you watch a motivational video at midnight and suddenly you are like, tomorrow I'm waking up at 5 a.m., going for a run, meal prepping, and reading 20 pages of a book. Yeah, and then tomorrow comes and your alarm goes off, and you are like, actually, maybe next week. That's the thing. Motivation is just an emotion. It's like happiness, sadness, or excitement. It comes, it goes. One day, you feel unstoppable. The next day, you don't even want to get out of bed. And you can't build real success on something that temporary. Here's a trap most of us fall into. We wait until we feel like it. I'll work out when I feel motivated. I'll start that project when I feel ready. I'll chase that dream when I feel confident. But if you are always waiting for motivation, guess what? You are going to be waiting forever. Because feelings don't show up on a schedule. Think about it. Do you think athletes, CEOs, or even content creators are motivated every single day? No. But they don't sit around waiting for motivation to knock on the door. They just do it anyway. That's called discipline. Motivation gets you started, sure, but it's discipline that keeps you moving when motivation disappears. And trust me, it always disappears. So next time you are sitting there thinking, I'll wait until I feel like it, remember this. Success doesn't care about your mood. Success doesn't wait for you to be motivated. Success belongs to the people who show up even on the days they don't feel like it. Let me tell you something that might sting a little. Discipline doesn't care about your mood, and honestly, that's exactly why it works. See, most of us only do things when we feel like it. We'll go to the gym when we are in the mood. We'll study when we are motivated. We'll work on our side hustle when inspiration magically shows up. But let's be real. How often does that actually happen? Here's the truth. If you only do things when you feel like it, you will stay stuck because your emotions, they are all over the place. Some days you feel unstoppable, other days you just want to binge Netflix and eat snacks. Discipline is different. Discipline says, I don't care how you feel. We are doing it anyway. It's about showing up for yourself even when you would rather not. Think about it. Do you really believe the most successful people in the world wake up excited every single morning? No way. They are not running on inspiration. They are running on systems, habits, discipline. Take athletes for example. Do you think they are all thrilled to train every day at 5 a.m.? No, but they do it anyway. Why? Because discipline builds consistency, and consistency is what creates results. That's different. Motivation is a feeling, discipline is a decision. And honestly, once you train yourself to lean on discipline instead of waiting for motivation, everything changes. Because suddenly you are not at the mercy of your moods anymore. You don't need to wait for the perfect day or the perfect vibe, you just do it. That's why the people you admire, the ones crushing it in business, health, content creation, whatever, they are not special. They are just consistent. And consistency comes from discipline, not inspiration. So the next time your brain says, I don't feel like it, remember this. You don't need to feel like it, you just need to do it. Let me be real with you. Motivation is way too fragile to depend on. If you're waiting to feel inspired every single day, you are gonna waste so much time. That's why successful people don't rely on motivation, they rely on systems. Habits plus routines equal automatic discipline. For example, if you set a fixed wake up time like 6:30 am every morning, no matter what, your body eventually adjusts. You don't argue with yourself about whether to snooze the alarm because the system is already in place. Same with meal prep. If you have already planned your food for the week, you are not standing in the kitchen at 9 p.m. debating pizza or salad. The choice is already made. The system makes it easier to stick to discipline. Or workouts. If you have scheduled your gym sessions like meetings, same time, same days, it stops being, should I work out today? And turns into, this is just what I do. That's the beauty of systems. They take the decision making out of it, and when you don't have to negotiate with yourself every day, you save so much mental energy. You don't need motivation, you don't need a pep talk. You just follow the system. And here's the magic, the more you repeat it, the less effort it takes. It goes from feeling like discipline to just feeling like your life. So if you're tired of constantly falling off track, don't wait for motivation. Build systems that make the right choice the default choice. Because once your habits run on autopilot, success isn't about willpower anymore. It's just about showing up. You know what nobody tells you? Discipline doesn't start with huge dramatic changes. It starts with tiny wins, like literally as small as drinking a glass of water when you wake up, or writing one line in your journal. That's it. Nothing fancy. See, here's the thing. When you try to change everything overnight, you burn out. That's why those New Year, New Me goals barely last 2 weeks. But when you focus on small wins, that's where the magic happens. Because every time you follow through, no matter how small, you build consistency, and consistency builds confidence. And confidence, that's what makes discipline feel natural instead of forced. Think about it. If you tell yourself, I'm going to drink water every morning, and you actually do it for 7 days in a row, suddenly you start trusting yourself. You are proving that you keep your promises, and that little bit of trust makes you want to do more. That's momentum, and momentum bears motivation every single time. Motivation says, I'll start when I feel like it. And momentum says, I already started. Let's keep going. And once you have momentum, discipline doesn't feel like a fight anymore. It feels like progress. It feels like you are winning even in small ways every single day. So, yeah, maybe you are not waking up at 5 am or running 10 miles yet, but you drank your water, you journaled one page, you moved your body for 5 minutes, and guess what? That matters. That stacks up. Because discipline isn't built in giant leaps. It's built in tiny, consistent steps that compound into something unstoppable. So the next time you think, this little habit doesn't matter, remember, those small wins are literally the foundation of your discipline. And once you have got discipline, you can't do anything. Here's the hard truth. Motivation helps you start, but discipline is what keeps you moving. Think about it. Anybody can excite it in the beginning. That's why gyms are packed in January. Everyone's motivated, everyone is hyped, but by February, half those people are gone. Why? Because motivation fades. And this is where discipline steps in. Discipline doesn't ask, do I feel like it today? Discipline says, we are doing it anyway. And that's the difference between people who quit and people who succeed. The ones who quit, they are waiting to feel motivated again. The ones who succeed, they showed up even when they didn't want to. They built a system, they built habits, and they stuck with it. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people start the same goal, let's say learning a new skill. Person A practices when they are motivated. Person B practices every day at the same time. No matter how they feel, 6 months later, who's better? It's obvious, right? Person B. Not because they are smarter, not because they had more motivation, but because they had more discipline. That's why discipline guarantees long term success. Because when you rely on discipline, progress becomes inevitable. Even if you are slow, even if it's not perfect, you are still moving forward. And forward is the only direction that matters. Motivation is like a spark. It gets the fire started, but discipline is the wood that keeps it burning. Without it, the fire dies out. With it, you can keep going for as long as it takes. So if you are tired of starting over, if you are tired of quitting halfway, stop relying on motivation. Build discipline because once discipline takes over, success stops being a question of if and becomes a matter of when. So here's the takeaway. Motivation might spark the fire, but discipline keeps it burning. The difference between people who quit and people who succeed isn't talent. It's not luck, it's the ability to stay consistent when motivation disappears. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one habit you are going to stay disciplined with starting today? Drop it in the comments because I love seeing you guys hold yourselves accountable. Because remember, success doesn't come from waiting to feel like it. It comes from showing up even when you don't.